Welcome to The Future Belongs to Creators. This is a show about the creator economy where we dive into the topics and issues that really matter to creators. Let's get started.
Welcome, friends, to The Future Belongs to Creators. This is a podcast about the creator economy by and for creators. And today we're joined by one of my design YouTube friends. I'm very excited to have her here. Sara Brunatini is a design content creator. I don't know how long ago we met Sara, but we've been hanging out online for many years, despite never having met in person, I don't think.
Not yet.
And not yet. There we go. Yeah, I like to be hopeful. Sara is originally from Italy, now lives in Brighton, England. And we're going to talk to her today about what it's like to be a creator who doesn't speak English as their first language. Clearly, she speaks English very well, but also doesn't live in the US either. I feel like so much of the internet is very US-centric. And as a fellow, someone who doesn't live in the US, non-US person, I'm excited to have Sara on to talk about the experience of that. But first, as always, we have our Have You Heard section. And I forgot to say, for the audio listeners, I'm joined by Haley and Miguel.
Yeah, I'm here.
My regular co-hosts. There we go. They exist too. And Miguel, you want to kick us off with your Have You Heard?
Yeah. So today I'm going to talk about Snapchat. That's right.
Ooh, not Instagram or Twitter
Not
for once.
Instagram or Twitter or TikTok.
Snapchat's a thing still?
Oh.
Or is it
I'm
just
glad
their
you said
filters?
that. I'm glad you said that because apparently Snapchat has hit 1 million paying subscribers for their paid tier. Yeah. 1 million people
They
are
have a
paying
paid
Snapchat
tier
money.
and 1 million people are paying for it.
You know,
That
they're
is
all
correct.
paying just for the filters. They're just paying for the filters.
Let me tell you what you get when you pay Snapchat for their service. So First of all, Snapchat Plus, as it is called, is after 6 weeks that it was officially unveiled, they have an impressive 1 million subscribers. So Twitter Blue, for comparison, has reached 500,000 subscribers, and they already want to charge more for that service. Snapchat Plus, what it gives you is priority story replies, which means like your replies are more visible to Snapchat stars. So you kind of get priority views for those people. And then it kind of, well, I'll just finish telling you. So the next one is, so you get what they call post view emoji, where you pick an emoji that you want friends to see after they view your snaps. So it's like a signature way to sign off of your snaps.
Okay.
You get new Bitmoji backgrounds, new app icons, which I think is super lame. It's like just you can get to choose the icon on your phone home screen that is a Snapchat icon. And that's it. That's all you get. And 1 million people are like, hell yeah.
Wait, how much does it cost a month?
It costs $3.99 a month.
Wow.
So for $4 a month, or if you want to extrapolate that to, let's say you pay over it for the course of a year, that is what, 4 times 12, 48, right? So $48, so $50 a year, and you get the things I just listed off. And if that's 1 million, easy math there, $4 million a year, 6 weeks after launch is what Snapchat is making for these 4 features. I thought,
isn't it $4 million a month?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right. Shit. So 48 million a year, assuming people keep it for a year. Sorry.
Right. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
but still, holy crap. Yeah. So that seems like a pretty lackluster offering for the fact that 1 million people have decided to pony up the cash for
You
it.
know what though? It shows that they know their user base. I don't understand it. I wouldn't pay it. I also don't use Snapchat. So if there's 1 million people willing to pay it, and that means like maybe protects them a little bit from becoming like Instagram and being just like totally ads have overtaken and like everything is for the ad revenue now, then maybe it's a good thing for Snapchat.
I don't use Snapchat either, which is why for those of you that are watching or are joining us on the video version or watch this later, I literally, as Miguel was talking about Snapchat, got a Snapchat notification on my phone, and I don't use it. So I don't know how it came up.
Also, you're paying $4 a month and you don't know it. You might want to check.
I'm contributing to the $4 million a month user, but that just, there's that theory about phones are always listening. I know it's been debunked, but Even through the headphones, they heard it.
What you got for us, Haley?
I am here to share. We all know, actually, we were just talking before we went live about how Instagram is now a video tool, and pretty much every app is going to follow suit, or not that Instagram launched that. But LinkedIn is following now, and they had just added a feature. As most of you probably know, LinkedIn has done a pretty good job of catering to the creator community, because that's the creator economy is where the future is. And they just added a feature that allows you to add clickable links to images or videos, which I actually think for LinkedIn is really helpful for creators, because there's just not that many people that are doing it yet. So it's not overloaded. And yeah, so I thought that was a cool new feature. They acquired a tool called Jump Rope. That was kind of utilized by creators maybe a year or so ago. And I have a casual relationship, like I know him as an acquaintance, with their head CEO, and he's heading up the video space, or the video tool functionality on LinkedIn. And so, I'm sure there's going to be more features that are coming out.
Nice. I still feel like I need to get on LinkedIn, given my audience as a creator, right? Is very like professional development focused in your career as a designer. I don't know. Are you doing content on LinkedIn, Sarah? Is that a thing you're paying attention to?
I am not. A few years ago, I was getting into creating content just for LinkedIn, and I gave up. I think I lasted like a couple of weeks. It's just too corporate for me.
Yep. That's what I feel like I've been seeing it become slightly less corporate, maybe only in the past year. That's why.
Yeah. But maybe that's why it's a good opportunity for you to jump in now. Before. I mean, they are making no different than everyone else. They're making a lot of effort to cater to the creator community, and it takes off. Maybe it takes off, maybe it doesn't. But I feel like in my feed, I don't see a lot of corporate stuff on LinkedIn anymore, just because of the people that I follow, because now you can add yourself as a creator on LinkedIn. So people you don't connect with them, you follow them. And it's just an additional place. And so I think there's opportunity there.
Yeah, definitely. I've seen many content creators repurposing content for Instagram, on Twitter, on LinkedIn. So we're basically reusing the same content, which is a good shout if you want to, speed up your process and post everywhere. You can also use one of these tools that repost stuff on different platforms.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to pay attention to LinkedIn, and maybe we can follow up in a future episode about that. But my quick little have you heard today, I'm going to use it to give a shout out to a creator who I've been following for a while. He's been a previous guest on this show. Jay Klaus hit his annual goal, right? Annual goal for the number of members he was hoping for to join his creator community, which is called The Lab. And it is only August, and he's hit this annual goal already. And I feel like I'm seeing more and more people who I follow joining it and like raving about it every day. So I just wanted to give a little shout out to Jay and say congrats on hitting that goal and creating something that is clearly so valuable for creators that like they're flocking to join it. So well done to Jay. But let us move focus. We like Jay. We like Jay a lot. Let's move focus over to Sarah. And how about we start by you introducing your creator business? What do you create? What are your main streams of income? Give us the lay of the land.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, first, thank you so much for having me here. I listen to your podcasts every week during the morning when I go for a run. And it's one of my favorite because I just love talking about the creator economy. So a little bit about me. My main channels, I guess, are YouTube and Instagram. It's like I create content for these platforms, but over the past 2 years, my business has evolved. I started to do more mentoring, but going back at my first type of content was video. So I've been making videos about my life as a designer, kind of like you, Charlie, like daily vlogs, like little stories, and content that is more educational, is more about product and UX design. But recently, I've been trying to keep it more like about design in general, how to bring more design into your life. And yeah, my audience, I guess, are people who want to get into UX and product design in this space, but also, professionists. Some of them just want to level up their skills because my videos are not just for beginners. Sometimes are for expert, like my level. Kind of. I hope to be an expert.
You are. Give yourself some credit.
And I've been creating content for a couple of years, precisely since the beginning of the lockdown, when I had no excuses. I wanted to start making videos on YouTube for forever because I've been watching, people like you, Charlie, Ran Segal, The Future, and other really cool YouTubers. And I wanted, to have my channel as well, but I've always been pushing it back because, friends, work, commuting to the office takes so much time. And then lockdown hit and I had plenty of time for creating content. And this is when I got started. And yeah, my main streams of income, I will say the main one, the majority is collaborating with brands. So I create videos, dedicated videos for brands, but more recently I started to do more like sponsored video where maybe I talk for a minute or so about a product on my video, and then I choose the topic. It's just easier and more fun for me as well, and less time consuming. And another source of income is mentoring. I've been mentoring other designers, and they usually find me through YouTube and Instagram. So, we're following this path. I post this during the summer, obviously, to enjoy the nice weather, but it's something that I want to keep doing later this year. And then my last source of income, I'm telling you, from like the biggest one to the smallest one.
Okay.
AdSense is also important to mention, even if it just covers me the cost of like maintaining my side business. So paying my softwares and all that stuff. So these are my main free ones. In the past, I did some freelance work and I found clients through YouTube and Instagram, but I don't do that anymore because I forgot to mention I do everything on the side because I have a full-time job. So
Just
I need
like
to find
me.
a balance.
That's awesome. And so when you started creating content, like it's in the lockdown, you're deciding you're finally going to do this. How did you decide to create it in English rather than in Italian?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question because I've been procrastinating on this for, I would say, like more than a year. Like what type of content I want to do. I want to create something in English, but I don't feel comfortable. And so my first two videos were in Italian because it was easier for me. It was like a good starting point. Something like, easier. But honestly, my very first videos, I never published them because they were super cringe and they were in Italian. And I tried to film something in English and I just nope. And then I filmed something in Italian. It's just easier. It was just easier for me to just overcome that initial block of, oh my God, I'm going to film something and share it on YouTube. That's scary. And then my third video was in English. I feel like because I prepared the script in advance with the help of my boyfriend. My boyfriend is British, so he's always been helping me with like writing the script. And yeah, because I practice already, like my English, my videos, in Italian, I was more comfortable. And so, yeah, another reason for switching, for trying in English was that the majority of the people that were watching my videos came from my Instagram, which at the time was a lot bigger. Maybe I had like 5,000 followers, maybe even less, to be honest. And they were asking, they were all, everybody spoke English, just a small percentage was Italian. So they were asking for some content in English. So, so we can understand. I think they were using subtitles, like the
auto-generated ones.
Yeah, which didn't work out very well. But yeah, so I think like lots of the credits come from my boyfriend, who helped me a lot with preparing the scripts. And this is how I got started with creating content in English. And honestly, I've been enjoying it even more. It's actually a lot easier for me now to talk about design in English, because I've never done it in Italian. At work, we just speak English, so it's a lot easier now.
Yeah, what that actually got me thinking. We have a coworker. Her name's Julia, and she's Italian as well. And she has been doing a travel blog now for several years. And the way that she does her stories on Instagram is she'll say the same thing, but she'll have the English captions and then she'll have the Italian captions in two different parts of the photo. So I guess there's enough of her audience that she feels that she would be alienating if she did it all in English. And then the same would be true in the reverse if she did it all in Italian. So I think that's maybe one approach that you could have, is to do it in both at the same time. But obviously there's like pros and cons to doing it like that. Have you ever thought about doing content like that was kind of serving both languages, or do you find it more comfortable to just, pick a lane and stay in there?
Yeah, that's a good question. So the way I'm creating my videos now is I create the videos in English, but I add Italian subtitles, and they're not the
cool.
auto-generated ones. I pay someone that translates the videos for me, and not just the captions, but also the title, the video description. I don't do it by myself because it's just really boring. And yeah, so far it's been good, but there are I think 10% of my audience is from Italy, and they're always asking for dedicated content in Italian. So I just say, well, you can just click on the add your subtitles and try to figure out what I say. It's not going to be the same experience, but it's better than nothing. And I wonder if in the future we will have the ability to just translate. There will be like an AI that translate your voice. I think it can be very interesting, but also quite creepy. But maybe it's something that we will do in the future. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've also wondered about if YouTube could let us upload 2 audio feeds as well. Like, it's just like, I could record a video in Spanish. It would be terrible. I can't talk about design in Spanish. And then just upload the audio feed, and they can pick which feed they want to listen to.
When a few years ago, Charlie and I were in France, and she was mixing her Spanish and French. It was French. It was fantastic.
It still happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, Sarah, to hear how you think it's impacted you so you chose to make videos in English, with English as your second language. How has that impacted you as a creator? Like, do you feel like it's impacted your growth at all, or like the opportunities that you've gotten?
Oh, it's definitely been more challenging. And to talk about this, I need to tell you a bit more about my background, because I've been living in the UK for 6 years now. But previously, I didn't speak English very well. I know it's embarrassing, but I've always refused. I wasn't interested. I've always been more like the creative type. Like, I want to do my art, I want to create stuff. I don't want to learn another language. It's boring. And I did regret it a lot. So I would tell all my, Italian friends to just learn English as quickly as possible. It opens more doors. But it's been very challenging, because even when I moved to the UK 6 years ago, I spoke like very basic English, and even like taking the bus or ordering at the restaurant was really challenging for me. And I had to like learn a lot. But when I was in like these situations, this is where I started to learn. And it didn't take me a lot to become comfortable. I think I got my first job, like a full-time job, after a couple of months. So that was a good experience. Now I feel like when I started out on YouTube, I was in England for 4 years, so I feel like I learn new things every day. But my English of 4 years ago wasn't as good as today. and yeah, it was challenging. I was looking at other creators and thinking, oh, I want to say this like cool stuff, and like I couldn't find the words. It just didn't sound right. So yeah, it's been challenging, but it also came with its benefits as well, because I feel like even like having an accent has helped me differentiate from other creators. I get lots of comments about my accent. This is probably like the challenging part for me of being on YouTube, because sometimes it's cool, but when you read the same comment like 5 times a day, it's a bit too much. And I know some people are just on YouTube there to troll, but they need to find that aspect where people can take the piece of you. But it's never been a big problem, and I don't think it was a blocker for like getting more opportunities. I feel like I had the same treatment of other creators, really. And last thing I wanted to say, I think it also gave me strength, because just moving to a new country where you don't speak the language and everything is really difficult, you wanna even like be on YouTube. That's like a lot harder for you. And I don't know, Charlie, if it's the same for you, but living in a country where it's not your first language is very challenging.
Oh yeah, I totally agree. And what you were saying about getting started and the confidence and all that, I don't think I could have a YouTube channel in Spanish because I can't like let my personality shine in Spanish. Like I can say things, but I can't like make jokes and be funny and like, I don't know, be myself. And that's like, I guess, a challenge when you're learning a new language, right? It's not only communicating, but like communicating with personality on it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I feel that the same. Like I'm always careful, like making jokes. So yeah, I feel the same. Yeah, I wish I was. I think it's one of these things that will take time, and the more I do it, the more I practice, the better I get. But yeah, it's definitely true. Like you kind of change personality.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're definitely a different person when you're I've had this experience. So I started learning English when I was about 6 or 7 years old, and originally I was just spoke Spanish, and then I have like vivid memories of growing up and being teased for having an accent, and I was young enough where that kind of went away, and now I just sound American. And the irony is now that when I speak Spanish, I have a little bit of a American accent, so it's kind of flipped the other way. But when I visit family and I'm speaking Spanish, I find very limited in my ability to express myself because it's not my dominant language anymore. I am conversational, I am fluent, I can write in it, I can speak it, but I'm not me as I would describe myself when I'm in a room full of English speakers. Like I'm much more timid, I don't talk as much. I'm less confident about telling jokes or being funny because there's a lot of nuance and things like that. And if you miss that nuance, something that's funny in Spanish is not funny in English and vice versa. So you have to be very calculated. And I'm not a very calculated person. So by definition, it's not me when I'm in a room full of Spanish speakers and I'm trying to tell a joke and it just like flops. I'm like, well, yep, that's pretty much how I expected it to go. So,
And if you don't know Miguel, he is always telling jokes. So I can't imagine a Miguel who's not telling jokes.
oh yeah, no, just a very quiet, introverted Miguel in the corner is what you get. But no, but it's funny because I so language. It's one thing to be conversational, but then you're also trying to create in that atmosphere. So I just find that to be really relatable because if I can't even feel comfortable or myself in a room of other people because I'm limited by my ability to express myself, imagine having to create under that restriction. You always probably feel like it's not fully you who is in that content. And as a creator, creators want what they create to be them. You want it to be very quintessentially them and their own brand. So I just find that fascinating that it's such an extra challenge to be your authentic self when it's like twice the work just to exist in that language.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. But we also have to consider that even like different countries that speak English, they have completely different jokes. And
Yes. And so phrases and sayings and things.
And senses of humor. Yeah.
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 I'll say this, Sarah. A few minutes ago, you said it was really embarrassing that you didn't know English. What I think is really embarrassing is that out of the four of us, I'm the only one that doesn't have a second language. That's the actual embarrassing thing here. Because I'm like, okay, Miguel's got English and Spanish. Sarah, you can speak Italian and English. Charlie's got like a myriad of like 12 languages that she can speak.
Well, I could guess I could
And-
count in like 12 languages, but
And my
That's
French
it.
teacher, Mr. Woolman, is not proud of me right now. I will tell you that much. I'm curious what specific advice you have for multi or bilingual creators out there on choosing a dominant language, or if you think that choosing a dominant language is actually necessary. Was there something that you evaluated, like when you were looking at your audience size, or even evaluating the brands that you wanted to work with, whether they were based in the US or they were based elsewhere? But do you think it's necessary to choose a dominant, or can you be equally, kind of equal there?
Yeah, great point. So the reason, like one benefit of speaking English, at least for me, is I can connect with other brands, and all the brand collaborations I got are because my content is in English. But on the other hand, I see content creators in Italy getting lots of views because, the market is not saturated, especially in my niche, like product UX design. Nobody's creating content in Italian. So that would be a great opportunity to be like the only one creating this type of content. But at the same time, I'm also excluding a big audience. And I feel like the reason I'm choosing English as main language for my content is also because I live in England. If I was in Italian, maybe it would be different. But yeah, there are so many content creators who speak their native languages and they get so many views. They're super successful, and all the content they create is in English. One exception is in their language. One exception is mentoring, because with mentoring, I can mentor in Italian, in English, and yeah, even with these regards, we need to consider, the type of audience, because I can charge a lot more to someone that lives in the States, in the UK, but Italy, the market is very different. So I tend to give discounts because I know salary-wise, there's a massive difference.
I love that. In fact, I think, Charlie, you might be able to speak to this a little bit better, but I feel like David on our team, who's from South Africa, it was really important for him to he loved the idea of the creator economy because of the opportunities that it gave people in South Africa that they wouldn't otherwise get because of both the economy there and the salary. Do you feel like what is the economy like, the creator economy like in Italy? And is that like a special place to be able for you to serve that community? As you said, you gave discounts to that kind of community because of salary discrepancies and so on and so forth. But how do you feel about that?
Yeah, there are many cool content creators. I don't know if there are many, because I follow the ones with the most followers, subscribers on YouTube. I think there is definitely a lot of potential, and also the content creator is becoming bigger and bigger in Italy. Because all these trends that arrive in the States and then in the UK and then we arrive in Italy later on. And yeah, I follow a few content creators in Italy, and we are all doing amazing job. Lots of views, lots of followers. We feel really, at least I think we're really successful. And maybe it's something I will explore in the future. I'm not gonna lie, I love it. I dream a life where I can split my time between Italy and UK, where I can just go to Italy, give talks, courses, and all these kind of activities. Maybe in the future, but yeah, it's an interesting one.
Maybe you're setting up for that by offering mentoring in Italian now, right? You're building up a list of people who are learning from you already just in that one-to-one setting. And I think it's really smart that you can, that is an easy way for you to offer both languages because it's a one-to-one experience and you can just speak a different language depending on what the person wants.
Yeah, absolutely. And if I spoke Spanish, Portuguese, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, you could be the like multilingual design mentor.
Yeah.
I love it.
I know the
You
topic. I know. Sorry, can I get sneak a question here real quick?
do
So
it,
I know the
Miguel.
topic of this is all about English speaking and especially as a second language. Um, but I wanted to know um, if my instincts are right on this. Do you find that the fact that English is your second language, and as you said, people point out that you have an accent and things like that, do you find that that sometimes overshadows the work that you're trying to do? What I mean by that is they're more focused on the fact that you are an Italian person doing what you're doing instead of what it is that you are doing. Like, do you find that it is distracting or do you find that it is more of a benefit? What has been your experience?
Yeah, that's a good shout. Yeah, I think it's sometimes it's distracting because I think you're not valuing the type of content I'm creating. I've been talking about UX career paths for like 10 minutes, and all you can remember is my accent. Like,
Yeah.
the only thing you can point out. So sometimes it can be distracting, but at the same time, I know that there will always people that point out at our personality that don't care about the content. I feel like if you don't care about the content, fine. You're not going to leave a comment anyway. If you want to leave a comment about my accent, cool, because I get more comments and they promote
that
my
helps the
videos.
algorithm.
So yeah, exactly. It's good for the algorithm. So yeah, keep writing it.
Is your experience similar to that, Charlie? Like, obviously, to English speakers, you have an accent, or
Yeah.
you have pink hair, and whatever. So, like, do people like comment on the things that are like? Is it frustrating as a creator to be like, "Cool, I just made a 10-minute video on design, and all you had to say was, I like your hair." It's like you're killing me. Like, what is that
A
like?
little bit. Like those ones, it depends who it's coming from as well, because we don't need to get into the whole like sexism on the internet right now,
Sure.
but that's what I feel most, is that people will just be like commenting on your looks or being creepy, and I'm like, cool, you're not here for the valuable content I'm offering. And yeah. We talk about this in our design YouTube group, and I know you've experienced that too, Sarah, that sort of thing. Yeah.
And
But
I
hey,
also got, oh, sorry. I also got a comment from like an Italian saying, "You speak English like an Italian." And I thought, yeah,
You're like,
that's
I am an
because I
Italian.
am Italian. Thanks for the reminder.
Yeah. Yes, and
Yeah.
Cool
so-
observation. Thanks for adding to
Yeah.
the conversation.
Just to quickly touch on the outside of the US thing that we brought up before a little more. You already talked about the discrepancies in the different markets and value and pricing and things like that. I feel like, as a fellow creator based outside the US, I think I have purposefully tried to build an audience within the US because of the like opportunities that brings with sponsors and brands, and also it's just like a huge market on the internet. Like, I find myself uploading at a time, going live at a time, and things like that make sense for a US time zone, and I feel like I am quite conscious of it. I'm wondering how it's been for you. Is the US something that like you make choices around? Is it something you're conscious of? Or are you like building a UK audience perhaps?
Yeah, that's interesting. I never thought about going live or like looking at the time zone in the States, because I tend to like I can mentor before work or after work, but I don't care about the audience in the States. And is it something I should consider? I'm not sure. I feel like there is benefit with focusing on the market in Europe, because there's less competition. But yeah, as you said, the US offers more opportunities to like collaborate with other brands, and maybe it's the case of like finding a balance between creating something for both worlds. But yeah, I also I don't remember where I read this, but I remember reading or like watching a video about that says that if you live in the US or like San Francisco, in big cities, you get more traffic, more views on your YouTube. And I'm not sure if it's true, but can the location impact your content? I think it was the topic of another podcast. Yeah, it's definitely interesting.
Gosh, that would be counterintuitive to creators like, mobile lifestyle. That's one of the biggest benefits about being a creator. And then you're like, get pulled back to a city. That would just, I'd hate to believe that was true, but I definitely would believe it.
Yeah, definitely like living in a big city is a benefit, because if I say, hey, I'm a designer in San Francisco, in New York, that sounds cool. If I say, I'm designing in Brighton, UK, maybe my audience in the States is like, don't care. Or maybe they do care. Yeah. Maybe they do care because I'm based in the UK and it is interesting. Not sure.
Yeah, I definitely found that I had a lot of growth in my channel when I moved to London from New Zealand. And I think it's because, I don't know, I think the city had something to do with it, that I had connections to more people there, and I could, I don't know, perhaps upload and go live at a better time while I was there. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, what are some of the benefits you think to being based outside the US? We talked about some of the downsides, but what have you found to be some of the benefits?
Well, the benefits, but it's less competition for sure. You become, if a brand, and this is something that happened to me before. So if a brand wants to reach a new audience in Europe, they're gonna reach out to me because I know I'm based in Europe, and maybe some of my followers are also based here. So that can be an advantage. And I know that many brands, like big brands, are expanding from the States to Europe. So this is something that you could offer to your audience, and this leads to more opportunities. And also, I feel like you become like. At least for me, I feel like a hero when I get approached by other Italians. They're like, "Oh, you're so cool! You're working for a big tech company, and you left Italy, where there are not many opportunities." And this depends on where the country you're from. But in my case, the job market for product or UX designers in Italy, it's at the beginning. There are just fewer job opportunities, and people always admire when I talk about my story and the fact that I change country looking for new opportunities. So I sort of feel like a hero for my other Italian fellas. And also you can show them that you don't need to live in a cool big cities in the US to succeed.
Agreed. I feel the same way about New Zealand too.
Well, Charlie, isn't your ultimate goal to get back to New Zealand and be able to continue to do the work that you're doing from New Zealand? Obviously, given that we work remote, you could do that if you wanted to now. But hasn't that always been your end goal, is to get back to New Zealand?
I wouldn't call it a goal. I think a goal is something that like you have to work to achieve. And like you said, I could just go right now.
Yeah.
It's more like it's the long-term plan to be closer to my family eventually. Yeah. And you're right. Yeah. To have built something up that can keep running when I'm back there. Maybe I can do like Sarah and split half the time there, half the time over here in a house on the coast of Spain.
That goes back to kind of the conversation that we were having about David, is that like, that's one of the things about the creator economy that I find so appealing, is that regardless of your circumstances or where you are born, if you have access to the internet, that you should be able to be successful. And so it's so funny from like an American point of view. I don't know, Miguel, if you think this at all, but for me, I'm like, I was talking to Charlie about this actually yesterday, because I was like, gosh, well, if I fly 5 hours, I just get to go to like Miami and, or Orlando, and that's not that cool, I was like,
I could probably get to Norway.
Can confirm Orlando is not that cool. I grew up.
Yeah. And so I'm like, everybody in the UK, you hop on a 2-hour flight and you're somewhere really magical and amazing. And so for me, from somebody who's from the States, I've done a lot of traveling in the United States, but I have not done an extensive amount of traveling in Europe and elsewhere in the world. And But I look at, like travel blogs or travel videos, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what an idealistic life. I'd love to go, move and live there and experience what that's like. While your perspective is a little different. And you're saying, well, there's not that many opportunities. And so I had to go elsewhere to create those opportunities for myself. And the creator economy is just this really beautiful tool, maybe, like a tool for you to be able to live the life that you want, where you want, and be able to provide yourself income. So that way you can, be where you want to be. And I think it's amazing, but it's just really interesting to hear it come from a different perspective other than from myself as an American.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Americans, we have a question here asking, I wonder, why would a Native American buy from someone who is not a native English speaker? My limiting, in brackets, belief is that all other things being equal, no one would buy from me. And I assume it's because this person has said that they're not a native English speaker. And I don't know, do you have any advice for them on changing this mindset, Sarah? Because like you said before, there's a strength, right, to having learned a different language and getting the confidence to speak and make content in a different language.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to understand the question. Is it more about like English not being so open-minded with people,
Yeah, like worrying basically about people who don't speak English natively holding themselves back from launching something because they're worried that people who speak English natively wouldn't buy it or wouldn't respect it.
Yeah, well, language barrier is a thing because I can say like Italians are more direct than British, and I always have fights with my boyfriend because he thinks I'm just angry. I come up like angry and like emotional, but no, this is just my way to express myself, and rude sometimes. It can be a challenge sometimes to just like misunderstanding behaviors. It was a beautiful book, can't remember the title now. It's about like all the different like the culture, can't remember the name, but yeah, he talked about like the different cultures.
It's like the Enneagram for cultures,
yeah,
right? Yeah,
we all we can all like express ourselves in different ways, but we shouldn't hold us back, especially if you think that even like nowadays the work environment is full of people from all over the world, and we speak English all together. Like in my team, we are at work, we're all from different nationalities, and that's fine, because I think that that's the winning. It was the winning solution. It was I had more imposter syndrome when I used to work at an office here, and 99% of my colleagues were British, and I was the only one speaking a different language. But then I got used to, and that's the reality we're facing. We are all we all could speak English as second language.
What I would say to this question is, I feel like, yes, there are people out there that might be biased. If somebody has an accent or seems very different on face value when they're talking about something, but maybe this is just me being an optimist, but I feel like those people are in the minority. I feel the majority of people are pretty open-minded. And if you as a creator lean in to the fact that, yes, I know that I sound different. I know that I sound that I'm not a native speaker. Let's just take that for what it is and then move on, or even lean into that and make that part of your brand. Like the fact that you are talking about UX, but you're the girl with the Italian accent talking about UX, that can be like your cool thing.
Brand
like,
identifier.
That's what's
yeah.
Exactly. You sound different, but you bring with that different background and that different culture your own unique point of view that maybe somebody in the United States would never possibly be able to have, because everybody in the US is kind of in the same culture in a way, and they have the same sort of approach to a problem. But here comes Sarah out of nowhere, out of Brighton, England, originally from Italy, who has a way different perspective than anybody from Tulsa, Oklahoma would have, or even New York or San Francisco or whatever. And that I feel like definitely you can make that your kind of like your secret weapon in a way.
Yeah,
Yeah, I love that.
I'd like to believe that for me, because I was asking myself, I was like, okay, if I had a list of 3 creators that were all native or speaking a different native language other than English, and there was one person that was doing the same exact content in English, if I would gravitate towards a Native American speaking English. I don't think it would matter the way that they were speaking English. For me, it would actually be the teaching style is what like the way that I kind of thought, because I learn in a very specific manner. And so somebody could be speaking to me, a Native American could be speaking to me in English, and I could not be hearing it or computing what they're saying because they're not speaking in my teaching style. So I don't know if that answer when I kind of like tried to think through that question a little bit, like as if I was in that exact situation. And I don't think I would gravitate towards somebody that sounded just like me. I really think that it would like, I was trying to say content is king, but I was like, well, it's what it is, but it's like what they're teaching and how they're teaching it, not how they sound teaching it.
Yeah.
Because I will learn better if it's in my teaching style.
There we go. Hopefully that gives some confidence to anyone out there who's worrying about this, that your delivery and the way you teach and what you're making matters more.
Yeah.
Well, let's end by Sarah. You can tell us if there's anything that's coming up next for you, anything you want to promote, anything you want to share with our audience. Normally we do like a listener shout out here. And so instead I'm giving the shout out space to you to shout yourself out for anything.
Yeah, before I want to just point out the book I was talking before. It's called The Culture Map.
There we go. We can put a link to that in the show notes.
And that's so far one of my favorite books ever. I think I listened to the audiobook, but it's great. And this teaches about like the different culture, how they communicate together. So what's next for me? Well, little bracket, I've been pausing content creation over the summer, and it's something that I tend to do almost every summer now. It's just because I think it's important for content creators to take breaks, and I'm not talking about 3 days break. I'm talking about, at least for me, 1 or 2 months break to just recharge, think about what I want to do next, and nothing bad happens. I've seen content creators that I follow like just disappearing, and people get really, oh my God, what's happening? Are you okay? And they're just taking breaks. That's normal. They come back with a new style, with a new type of content, and why can I just take a break? Don't understand. So over the summer, so for me next is to focus more on short form content. Also because my new job, like I recently started a new job and it's more demanding, so I'm focusing most of my energy on my full-time job, and this means I can still create content, but it's gonna be more like Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, as opposed to 10-15 minutes long videos. And then I want to get more into teaching and mentoring again. It's something that I find fun. I really like, and we were talking about before about being able to mentor in Italian and in English. I think it's kind of fun for me. And then this might sound like the opposite of most content creators, where they start local and they want to go global, but I really miss, hosting events with a local community. It's something that I used to do a lot before the lockdown, just attending local events. I remember doing like a Webflow demo with a few other UX designers at a local pub, and that was super fun. So I would love to bring that back, which might sound like going a step backward, but it's fun for me, and I think it's also good. And as an extrovert, I really, like being around people energizes me, doesn't drain me. Creating content by myself drains me, and that could be something fun that I want to do more. And also want to get better at telling stories in general, like through vlogs. Using like narrative, because that's the content I enjoy watching the most on YouTube and Instagram as well. So that should be fun. But everything is going to wait until September or October when the weather starts get really rainy again.
And then you go hibernate into your content creation cave again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, follow Sarah on Instagram, instagram.com/saretta.ux. And we'll also put links to her YouTube channel and a website where you can check out the mentoring calls, especially if you're an Italian listening to this and you're like, I want to have some design mentoring in my own language. Then great. We know exactly the place you should check out. That'll all be in the show notes. And thanks so much for joining us and sharing everything, all the vulnerability around, learning a language and the struggles that come with it. We really appreciate it.
Nice one.
Yep. We
All
won't
right.
be here next week, but
Yep. Good
Oh,
point.
that's right,
We will not
yeah.
be here next week. Where the team is going on a company retreat that I sadly will not be at. I'll be having FOMO from home, and yeah, we will not be recording because I'm not doing a solo episode. But join us the week after, and I think we'll be joined by a creator who we have made a film about in the past. And I'll just leave the mystery there, but you're going to want to join and hear about how to maintain high open rates. It's going to be great. Thanks for joining us, everyone. See you next time.
bye.
Bye.